one more thing about this video about like, okay, there's a guy named Farley who lives down by the river. I just realized like it's like you'd be like he worked for Duke Energy. He was a lineman. He was Indian land. You come out of Pineville, between Rock Hill and Pineville, there's uh, Dobie Creek Road. It goes from Indian land into Rock Hill. And I was walking into Rock Hill, and I'm walking on this country road, just getting into South Carolina, and Farley comes pulling out, right? And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "Yeah, you want to ride up the road?" And I get in his car, and he's got a beer. And he's got two. I got two beers. It was a Saturday. And he goes, "I got two beers." He goes, "You want one?" I go, "Yeah, I want one." I start talking to him. He goes, "Where are you going?" Because I had just found the rings. I said, "I'm going down to Tampa to see my dad. I guess that's where I'm supposed to go." So that's where I'm going. I'm going down there, and he goes, "Okay." He goes, "Here, check this out." He goes, because he like 33 years he worked for Duke Energy. He had a place called River's Edge on Dobie Creek Road, and they're like he had a nice layout. He goes, "I'll tell you what, some of my friends are coming over, right? And we're gonna have ribs and everything." He goes, "You can stay." He had a place on the river, a nice little like setup on the river. He's like, "You can stay there tonight. You want a place to sleep? I'll give you something to eat, and then do whatever you gotta do in the morning." Okay. So I went and I stayed down at Farley's, like, and I'm gonna send him a postcard or whatever because, like, the next morning he came and woke me up. Right, because the other thing that I didn't tell about this story is when I got to Indian Land, there was this bag full of oranges there. I was like, "That's Florida. I'm supposed to go to Florida, right?" And Farley he goes, "Yeah, you're supposed to go to Florida." But yeah, we went Farley on Dobie Creek Road, and when you went into his place, it was River's Edge. River's Edge on Dobie Creek Road in Indian Land between Rock Hill. He's got a he had a Dodge Dart there, and it said my other car's a Prius. Right there, I stayed there. He gave me a ride into Rock Hill. I went into Rock Hill, and he gave me he's like, "Here, I'm gonna help you out." He goes, "Here," he gave me $40. I said, "I think," he goes, "If you're through here, look me up." I said, "I will." So I'm walking through Rock Hill, right? And this is the killer of the story because there's a whole bunch of this story before I even get into it. So I'm walking through Rock Hill, and there's this train stopped right there on the tracks, like in the middle of the city, town. I'm like, I'm jumping on that train. And it'll take me right into Columbia. I jump on the train. It goes the opposite direction. Takes me 26 miles back into Charlotte. Right? All that work. I'm back into Charlotte. I hang out in Charlotte. I go to the ADM because ADM is uh, it's Adam ADM in Hebrew. It's in the rabbinical Jews. They say it's Adam David Moshiach. ADM. But I go down there and so I go out to Pineville back to where I started, and there's a blinking light right there by the train tracks. I'm like, there's gonna be something with the train. Wake up the next morning, there's the train stopped again. I'm like, I'm jumping on this train. I jump on that train. It takes me out into Arrowhead. It takes me to the edge of Charlotte. It's on the tracks like it's gonna go, and then it backs up and it parks on the side. So I get off and I'm all the way out there and I walk through and that's when I run into King's Branch. It's whatever. It's a long story. Then I'm like, I'm not jumping on any more trains. And I ended up walking. Ended up walking through South Carolina, walked about 30 miles, and then I ran into the Dye family on Mountain Gap Road, right? And I was sitting down, and they came outside, and they gave me food to eat and a book bag, and they gave me $20. And then I got lost again, and then I jumped on the interstate to walk down. I walked into the Pilot because I needed a map because I don't have phones anymore because my phones have been taken, and I thought it was going to be a straight shot, and then the state trooper picks me up. He gives me a ride down the road. He says, and he gave me a warning, so that's documented. Then I ended up walking all the way back through. Get to Cox Fair. I finally get to Columbia. I don't stay in Columbia very long. I'm like, God's like, here, just keep going. Be happy about it. I'm like, what do you always say? Just a couple more steps, a couple more steps. You always say. Yeah. So I'm like, all right. I walk down, walk to Cox Fair, walk all the way down, and I don't even gonna tell you what's like. I get down to Cox Ferry at Fairview Crossroads, but my directions disappeared. This time I went into the Columbia Library and I wrote out the map in detail. You go here, go here, go here, go here. I went down. There's this road called Nazareth Road. I get on it, and then I get to Cox Ferry, but I don't know where I'm going, and I'm way ahead on my directions. And then when I get to Fairview Crossing where I'm supposed to be, I go and get my bag, and my directions have disappeared. Right? So then there's these two old boys, and they pick me up because they're like, South Carolina. They're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, John Birch Society or guns. And they give me a ride down to the 20. I sleep on the side of the hill on there. And then the next morning I wake up and my hat, I was wearing my hat, this hat disappeared. Then all of a sudden it was back in my bag. Then my directions reappear and I see, I was supposed to. So I go down to Cox Ferry. I get down to the Dollar General and I'm going down to this guy, I can't remember his name but he pulls up. He's like, hey, where you going? I said, I'm going to New Holland. He's like, New Holland? He goes, I go, give me a ride down the road. He's like, yeah. So I get in his truck. He's going down the road, and he says to me, he says, well, I'll tell you what, I got a little project in my house, about 15 minutes I need you to do. I don't want to get up on this later. It's like 70. If you do that, I'll give you a ride into North Augusta. So we hit it off, whatever. He gives me a ride into North Augusta, and then like I put in, I put, I had a little bit of money, so I put like $20, $25 in his tank. He gives me a ride into Augusta, James Brown, whatever. I mean, but I lost his address. But yeah, I went in Augusta. Where did I go? Anyway,